Let's talk Alabama versus Tennessee. Alabama at home in the first half. Wow, did Tennessee just dominate? Defensively, Joe Milton moved the ball. They even ran the ball pretty effectively. Whatever happened in that locker room when those two teams came out, Alabama quick touchdown, and then it was just absolutely nightmarish for Tennessee the rest of the time. Domination, Bama's defense destroying Joe Milton and any chance that he thought he had of winning this football game. I was on Alabama. I had them minus 8.5 in our picks. You had Tennessee plus 8.5. I kind of get bailed
Yes.
out there by a fumble recovery touchdown in the fourth quarter. I mean, I don't know which Alabama team, which Alabama or Tennessee, like who are these teams, right? Is Tennessee really that first half team, right? And they just played a bad second half, or is Alabama really that second half team and they just played a bad first half, right? Like I don't know. Like I like to think that like what I saw in the second half from Alabama, like that is a playoff caliber football team. I know offensively they didn't like dominate offensively in the second half, but they did. They moved the ball well, and their defense just was lights out.
Yeah, to be honest, I really don't know. I just don't know. I was really impressed with Tennessee and Joe Milton. Like everything was clicking, especially that first quarter. You know, obviously, Milroe had the red zone interception again. Bama fumbled as well. So two turnovers obviously helped you if you're Tennessee. But yeah, I just don't know. This Bama team's really streaky. As almost conservative a style of ball they play, they're very streaky in terms of like they're really good defensively, right? But what that leads to is, in college football, you're going to give up points, you're going to give up yards. That's the reality of the situation, especially against a team with the talent that Tennessee has. Even though their offense hasn't been high flying this year, still a lot of talent on there. Good play caller there, and Josh Heupel. But you're going to give up points, but you also like takeaways, turnovers, like 3-and-outs, like those things like add up really quickly in a college football game, especially a rivalry game. And then also the big play arm of Jalen Milroe. One thing I really did like about Bama, especially in that second half, I thought I saw a lot more was the McClellan, man. He was the hot hand, and they rode him 27 carries. He had the next leading rush. I mean, Roy Del Williams had 6. So it was nice to see. I think to me, when Bama teams are at their best is when they have one alpha dog in the backfield. Is McClellan, the type of Najee Harris, Derrick Henry, even Josh Jacobs for that one year? Like, no, but can he be a really serviceable running back for them? Yes, absolutely. Burton had a nice game. Bond's awesome. I think, in the deep game for sure. He's always open at least once a
Dude,
game. And Moreau
Law,
obviously finds him.
I'll say this about Law, dude. He moves differently. Like he looks like he moves. I'm not saying he's Jalen Waddle because that's like Zach Branch moves like Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle moves like Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill moves like Tyreek Hill. Law moves like Law. Like he moves, man.
He's
He
got
skates.
they have a relatively, I would say, like unknown to nationally and maybe like statistically award winner type wide receiver room. There's some really good bodies in that room in terms of just like physical specimens, matchup nightmares. Malik Benson had a nice catch too. Dupree, nice catch. Amari Niblack, they tried to get him more involved, but he didn't really have the connection there this time. But they're pretty dangerous offensively. And like we continue to say, like if you give Bama a chance, you keep letting him win football games. And the later in the year they are, especially with this team, it feels like they're getting better and better. Be careful. They're 5-0 in conference right now. Like you get a bye week and then you get LSU. Like that's pretty. I mean, obviously, all eyes will be on that game, for all the SEC West implications that it has on there. But I, I don't know. They already beat Ole Miss. They have that tiebreaker, right? They beat A&M on the road there, and obviously Tennessee was a big time win. It's a really dangerous football team right now. They're gonna stick. They're gonna lurk around that top 8, top 9, top 10 area, but they'll be in it if they want to be in it by the end of the year, and then they'll get one game to play Georgia, and who knows there. As for Tennessee, what's your outlook on Tennessee for the rest of the year?
See, Tennessee fans not going to hear this, but I am of the belief that The defense is very good, but I think the offense, like Joe Milton is going to Joe Milton. Like I think the Joe Milton you're going to get for the majority of the time is going to be the one that you saw in the second half. That is my belief. You could prove me wrong, totally, because we've seen flashes of it, right? The first half, South Carolina game, like he's looked good at times, but I tend to believe like Georgia. It'll be interesting to see how he plays against Georgia. You know how he plays against Florida. Well, actually, no, he lost to Florida. He stunk. So what am I even saying? I don't know. I don't know, man. I the run game is still pretty solid. Now it's stalled in the second half, but I still like Wright and Small. Their offensive line has been pretty good, especially since when they got those injuries back. I still have so many question marks, dude. I thought those questions were going to be answered in the A&M game, and I thought they're going to be answered in this game. And I still have so many questions about this Tennessee team because I just don't know what I'm getting.
I think almost what it is like, yeah, like yes, there are questions, but at the same time, like in my opinion, I feel like we keep getting the same result for them. Right now, yes, the running game wasn't all there. I love the way they used Milton in the run game, by the way. I thought they moved the ball well in the first half. He was able to use his legs to make some plays. He ran over Malachi more than that one time in the first quarter, and that was good to see. But I just think, like, I feel like we're all kind of waiting for Tennessee to just jump offensively and explode. And that's why we have questions about the offense, but I just don't see it happening the rest of the year, especially with some of the teams and the places you have to go the rest of the year. Right? You got at Kentucky right next week, and then you got Connecticut, whatever, but at Missouri and then Georgia. Like, I don't know. I was a guy that took the under on the 9.5 wins, and I feel really good about it right now. And obviously, Tennessee fans don't want to hear about it, but I think they understand that too. Like, last year was a really good football team. They lost a lot of talent to the NFL, and they're finding out that it's hard to replace that and hard to have really good football teams back-to-back years in the SEC. Like, it was still winning 8 games and nine games, even that'd be really, really impressive. But in terms of competing in the SEC East, like maybe they hoped they were going to be with Joe Milton here. I think this is not the year for that.
I agree. But if they had this defense last year, wow, that would have been a team to watch.
It would have been a much better Georgia game, I think.
Yeah, they wouldn't have lost to South Carolina. And I don't know. It would have been really cool to see. But this is I don't know. It was a weird game. It was one sided the whole time. It was one sided in the first half, it was one sided in the second half. So it was
we also have to understand, and like it was a rivalry game. Like Tennessee, Alabama is a big time rivalry game. These teams hate each other. And so you're gonna get weird outcomes or weird results that maybe you can't, buy this, the outcome of the game or take the results that you saw on the field and be like, oh, this is what these teams are gonna be the rest of the year. Like, it's a rivalry game. Anything can happen. When we talk about 12 weeks a year, you're gonna get a different football team with it for these college kids. And on this particular Saturday, like Alabama was a better football team in the second half, the much better football team in the second half, and that ended up showing on the scoreboard.